You ever play a video game that you like really want to beat, but you just never spend enough time to beat it, and you're constantly in the back of your head like, dude, I really need to play this video game. I really need to beat it. Well, that was Tales of Vesperia for me. I didn't completely beat the game, so decided to revisit it. Alright, so I'm not going to touch too much on the things I've already gone over in my previous video. You can go check that out. Link will be in the description. But I really want to touch on some things that I really didn't notice when I first played the game, and that when I replayed it, really stood out to me. Starting off, I really want to talk about character progression. It is the prime attraction to this game. Throughout the game, you just really find like these characters progress a lot, and you constantly are digging deeper into their lives and experiencing more of their personality. They all have their own individual personality, and they're all really authentic and original. There's not many tropes that are repeated from other games onto this, and it really sticks out for the game. So looking at the main characters, Yuri Lowell is the main protagonist, and he's really like the anime version of Batman combined with Robin Hood. Repeat is a dog with a nicotine addiction of a 19-year-old. Estelle is your basic cooped up Catholic schoolgirl that just happens to be the chosen one. Carol's an attention-seeking kid who just seems to be addicted to guilds. Rita is a teenage mage with a mean backhand.
Or she's a prickly cactus! Die!
Raven's an old man with a very heightened interest in women. Judith is a whale-riding waifu.
They're bouncing. What are you looking at? I wish I could bounce.
Flynn is just an overall bad friend with too many high-standing morals. And Patty is just this young adventurous girl with some of the best punchlines in the game.
Such excitement.
These characters really come together, and it makes the game enjoyable to constantly progress in the game and figure out like these backstories behind these characters and how they work together, and when they're put in situations, how they kind of vibe off each other. It really makes you want to play the game more and just figure out what situations they get into and how they get out of them.
He's a real man.
Patty prefers masculine fellas, I see.
I thought he was pretty cold. Would it have killed him to listen to us a little?
Maybe he was caught off guard. He did just kind of show up out of nowhere.
Did one of us say anything rude to him?
Probably you, Rita.
Ha! Ow! Ow! Hey, no hitting!
Next thing I want to go on to is the boss battles. The boss battles are really dope. That's what really attracts me to a lot of games, is boss battles that are fun and a challenge, but also beatable, and that's what the game really does well. The boss battles are not only fun, but they're rewarding because you put a lot of time into, managing your items, managing your strategies, having your healers, having people do certain move sets, and constantly fighting these bosses, when they take 30 minutes to beat and you just pull it out. You have people healing, people reviving people, you have like one person left like 10 HP and somehow you get your whole party back. It's constantly rewarding to fight these bosses and pull out these situations you feel like you really can't pull out, but somehow you do, and it's just really fun to see these new movesets, unlock attacks, and just figure out what you can really work with and what you can't in these boss battles. The crazy thing is, playing this game the second time through, the boss battles were still challenging, but they still had that same rewarding feeling at the end of it, that same feeling like you passed the class, you studied hard, and you did good. That's really what the boss battles felt like. Also, there's optional bosses, which is a great way to take on extra challenges in the game. It really puts that extra spunk into the game. If you don't want it to be over, you can go back in and fight a couple hard-ass bosses. Alright guys, in the gameplay, I genuinely enjoy the simple, engaging, active battle system. The menus are super easy to handle, and then also micromanaging battles gets really easy because the game kind of pauses whenever you open up the menu, so it's easy to have people, heal a specific person, or have someone use a specific item, or have someone do a specific attack onto a certain enemy. And then the constant changing of the enemy types keeps fights interesting. Every time I would go around in the open world and see a different enemy I hadn't seen before, I make sure to get in a battle with it just so I can kind of see the animations it does. A lot of them are reused, the animations, but the art styles on them change and their skins kind of change. That keeps it interesting whenever you see something new and you're like, oh, I want to see what that does. Also, the environment's changing constantly, and they actually look pretty darn good. This art style really doesn't age badly. It ages really well, and so it's easy to look at all these beautifully designed cities in the open world and just the character animations. They all look really good. Lastly, the NPCs are kind of somewhat authentic. You really don't run into like reoccurring interactions with NPCs. It's constantly new, it's constantly fresh, which keeps the game new and fresh whenever you run into people that you hadn't seen before. You talk to them, and they all have different dialogue. It constantly changes as the game progresses, which shows the fine details really in the game. Alright, so after playing this game for about 50 hours, I do have some gripes. The short skits that you have whenever you're kind of like not in cutscenes, it gets pretty long, and they sound really bad. Like, you think that the definitive edition would sound better, but it kind of sounds like you're talking over a Nokia cell phone. It's not too well done.
And a mantic are totally different. It's much cooler here.
Schwann's buried in the depths of Bactium, ain't he? The guy standing in front of you is Raven. Just a simple old man.
Also, sometimes the cutscenes get too long, and they're response-based cutscenes, so you have to actually press A to skip through them because they have text boxes, so you have to go through the text boxes. So I wish there was some way I could turn it on to where, hey, guess what? I just want the cutscene to go through. I don't want to have to constantly press A on my Xbox controller to skip to the next part of the cutscene.
What about waiting for Flynn?
And lastly, Tales of Symphonia is still bae. I like it just a tad bit better. The characters aren't as good in Tales of Symphonia, but the story is there, and that's what drew me in. The story on this one is pretty dope. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't put it over Tales of Symphonia.
Guess we can't kill two birds with one stone, huh?
Alright guys, just a couple of updates. I'm going to try and do a series where I put out a video once a month talking about the games that I played in that month. So be looking forward to that. I also am playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and then I have Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE coming in from Gamefly. Shout out to you, Gamefly. But I also have those games coming in, so I'm going to try and play those and do a review. I want to get the Kakarot game, or the Kakarot review out by Sunday so that it seems pretty fresh. Alright guys, that is all from me, Matt the Gym Rat. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my vlog channel. It is doing great over there. It's constantly growing. A lot of people showing support. So if you enjoy vlogs or paintball or anything like that, please check that out. But that is all from me, Matt the Gym Rat. Please remember that lifting and gaming is life. I will see y'all in the next video.
Cruising down the street, what a freak, chopper on the seat, AK with a beam, let it